you think you know the people around you. Your neighbors. The faces you greet in the morning, the smiles that seem so genuine. But what if everything you see is a lie? Imagine this, a friendly neighbor who always waves, always offers help, always seems perfect. A family person, a model citizen. But behind closed doors, there's a life no one could imagine. One that shatters trust, twists reality, and leaves you questioning your own instincts. In this story, we're diving into the shocking double life of a neighbor. Stick around, because what you're about to hear will make you look at the people around you differently. It will reveal secrets, deception, and a moral lesson you won't soon forget. Meet Claire, a woman in her early 30s, who had recently moved to a quiet suburban neighborhood. The kind of place where lawns were manicured, streets were calm, and everyone seemed to know everyone. From the moment she arrived, one neighbor stood out, Michael. A man in his 40s, charismatic, always ready with a friendly nod or a cheerful greeting. He had 2 kids, a loving wife, and a reputation for being helpful in the community. If the neighborhood had a poster child for perfect family man, it would have been him. Claire, still adjusting to her new life, was grateful for Michael's guidance. He helped her with boxes, introduced her to others, and always had a kind word to say. On the surface, life seemed simple, peaceful, ordinary. But it wasn't. The first hint came subtly. Michael would disappear for hours, sometimes days, without explanation. His wife seemed oblivious, or maybe she chose not to see. Claire initially brushed it off. Everyone had private matters, right? Then the oddities became more glaring. Packages delivered to his house in the middle of the night. Unfamiliar cars parked outside, only to leave before anyone could notice. And whispers. Quiet rumors that no one dared repeat openly, yet somehow they seeped into conversations at the local grocery store. Claire's curiosity grew into suspicion. She noticed small things, books she had never seen in his house, photos that didn't quite match the stories he told. There was an unease in the air, a tension that made her stomach twist every time Michael smiled too brightly. The turning point for Claire came one evening when she saw him through the living room window of his house across the street. Michael was not alone. A stranger, someone she had never met, was leaving his house in a hurry, looking over their shoulder. Something about the hurried movements, the careful secrecy, set off a red flag. It wasn't until a few weeks later that the truth started emerging. Claire's investigative instincts, fueled by intuition and a relentless need for clarity, led her to discover online traces of a different life. A life completely separate from the charming, helpful neighbor everyone knew. Michael had another family. A second home, miles away, with a wife who had no idea he even existed in the community Claire knew. Photos, social media posts, even public records confirmed it. 2 families. 2 lives. 2 identities carefully maintained to avoid detection. Claire felt a mixture of emotions. Anger. Betrayal. Shock. But mostly, she felt the haunting question, if someone could lie so convincingly to everyone around them, to people who trusted him completely, then what else could be hidden from view? The injustice wasn't just in the deceit itself, but in the imbalance of trust. The community had unknowingly supported a man living a life built entirely on manipulation. And the real victims, the families, the children, were caught in a web they didn't even know existed. Claire realized that sometimes, danger doesn't come from the shadows. It comes from the familiar faces in your life. The people who smile at you across the fence. Who bring cookies for your kids. Who wave politely on a Sunday morning. The revelation didn't just shock Claire, it changed the way she saw her neighborhood, her own instincts, and the assumptions we make about human nature. One night, unable to sleep, she reflected on all the times she had passed Michael in the street. The casual conversations, the shared laughter, the sense of security his presence created. Every memory now felt tainted with suspicion, as if reality had been rewritten around a lie she had once accepted as truth. But the turning point wasn't just personal, it was moral. Claire understood that her anger, though justified, wasn't enough. The real lesson came when she saw the ripple effects of her discovery. She reached out discreetly to the other family, the one Michael had hidden, to warn them. To offer support in a way that protected the children and the innocent adults caught in his deceit. In confronting the truth, Claire realized the power of awareness. Of vigilance. But also, of empathy. Because while Michael's actions were unforgivable, the deeper tragedy lay in the human capacity to be deceived by appearances. She also understood that secrecy thrives in silence. The more we assume, the more we ignore the signs, the more someone like Michael can manipulate reality to their own advantage. The story of Michael is more than a tale of deception. It's a warning, and a lesson, for all of us. We live in a world where appearances are powerful. Where the smiling neighbor, the friendly colleague, the seemingly perfect friend may hide truths that are painful or dangerous. It reminds us that trust, while necessary, should never blind us to reality. At the same time, the story teaches empathy. Because when we discover deception, the first instinct may be anger, but the second should be reflection. How did this happen? How can we protect the innocent? How can we act in a way that restores justice, rather than perpetuates harm? It's also a story about courage. Claire didn't stay silent. She took steps, however discreet, to confront the hidden truth. And through her actions, she became part of a moral chain, one that prioritizes care, awareness, and accountability over ignorance or fear. The next time you walk past someone's house, or share a smile with a neighbor, remember, what you see is only part of the story. People carry secrets. Some are harmless. Some can upend lives. So, stay vigilant. Stay compassionate. And most importantly, trust your instincts, they are often the first hint that something is not as it seems. If this story made you think, made you question, or made you reflect on your own community, join the conversation. Share your thoughts in the comments. Like this video to support more storytelling that uncovers hidden truths. And subscribe to our channel for stories that make you look deeper, question more, and care stronger. Because in the end, understanding the hidden layers of human nature is the first step toward building a world where trust is deserved and justice is served.